Hi, you guys. I've been crying and I am going to try not to cry again, but you might see that happen. I want to talk a little bit today about emotions and how they feed so much into our body and our chemical makeup and our health. So I want to talk a little bit. I was looking through an album. I've been packing up some things in my apartment, and this album, and there's this picture of this guy I was in a relationship with, and it wasn't a positive memory, and I immediately shifted into a negative thought. And then I started to complain in my head, in my mind, why did you even date him? That was so ridiculous. And I'm sharing this story with you because this is what we do a lot as men and women. Both sexes do this. We look at relationships and we're like, oh yeah, that was so stupid of me. But here's the thing, we go through things in our lives, and unless we know how to fix the patterns, we continue the same pattern over and over again. What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So this is what we do. So if you're in a relationship and it doesn't work out, or you finally get out of it, you're just like, that's such a relief to be out of it. But then we're attracting the same kind of person over and over again. Maybe a little different, right? Same song, or same dance, different song. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But we get into this mindset where we think, oh, this person's different. But then there's red flags everywhere. And then we tell ourselves that it's them. It's not us, it's them. But maybe it's us. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's the person who needs to figure out what's going inside of them. And I don't mean this in a woe is you kind of attitude, or, I don't mean to take this and pick apart anyone, because I'm really speaking of myself and I want you guys to really relate to this in your own personal lives. But what we do is we internalize something and then we say, this is just how I am and this is who I attract. Not realizing that who we attract people on our self-esteem. Like attracts like, insecurity attracts insecurity. So who we are attracting in our life has a lot to do with how we feel about ourselves. It's actually the mirror that somebody else sees. Now, what I'm trying to say, and what I'm hoping I'm getting across, a little emotional, is that as we go through these things, we tell ourselves, I don't deserve a good relationship, or I don't deserve someone in my life that actually makes me happy, because I don't deserve to be happy. And then what happens? We actually attract that. And we attract somebody like that, and then we have the same results and expectations as we did before, and so we have the same outcome. And what happens is we don't take it from the root. So that's tip number one, is we have to figure out where the root is. Where is the root problem? Because it's like anything, it's a sickness, it's a disease, whatever it is. If we don't take care of the root, think of a weed. If the weed is not plucked out, it keeps coming back over and over again to tell us the same story, to where we basically have the same outcome every single time. So figuring out how to start uncovering those layers to figure out what you're doing and who you're attracting. Because a lot of times when we don't feel that we deserve something in our lives, we push it so far away that when we actually see it, we run from it because it's so scary. So tip number 2, you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You have to become familiar with the unfamiliar. And if you don't know what I mean by that, message me, because I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell you all the great stuff on how you can start eliminating that. Last tip I want to give you, and this is my favorite, and this happens a lot, is we tend to forget that when we see these red flags or gut intuition, or something comes up and we're like, oh, the person's just not good for me. And this could be a friendship too, it doesn't have to be a relationship. I'm just picking out the relationship because this was my story today, and I'm sharing this because I still have moments, even though I'm a coach, and I've done so much of this and so much work and so much practice and personal development. I'm still human, and I still sometimes go into that state and I have to shift out of it. So my favorite thing to talk about, and this is my last tip, is that whenever we have those gut feelings or flares or, red flags, whatever you want to call them, come up, it's because that's not the person for us. And that's something that we actually get to learn about why we attract that. And how we can disenchant that, or disattract, not attract it anymore, because we're learning how to change our patterns. So what I'm really saying for you today is to realize that when you have a good feeling about somebody or someone, listen to that feeling. Don't keep beating yourself up and thinking, oh, that feeling can't be real. There's no way I deserve a good guy. There's no way I deserve a good woman. I'm nobody special. I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and I just made a quick comment about how I like really admired his character, and he goes, oh, I'm not anybody special. Well, thanks, but I'm not that great. And I just immediately shifted him out of that and said, that's not true, you know? Like, but here's the thing, 1 million people you can tell you that they love you, but if you don't feel it inside, it means nothing. It literally doesn't do anything for you, because when you internalize it, you externalize it. So you have to feel that embodiment in yourself. So when you have those flags or flares come up of like, ooh, I don't know about that person, listen to that. And listen to that in a good way, because you know, deep down, you know what's good for you and what's not, and let yourself listen to that. When it's right, it'll feel right. And it will happen when it's supposed to. And when you're with the right person, it will just work. It'll just click. There won't be anything you said that was weird or awkward, obnoxious, whatever word. No, it does. That's not true. And you'll actually feel a peaceful feeling like you're home. And that's what you're looking for. And I'm sharing that with you. And that's my last tip, because a lot of us want to go back into the past. And we go back into the past, we go back into anger. And when we look to the future in an anxious, worry state, we're actually creating anxiety. So remove that by staying focused and centered and telling yourself that you get to be different today. You get to choose differently. You get to choose to be in gratitude that you're alive, that you're here, and that you have a purpose. And most importantly, your purpose is to seriously find what God wants for you in this life. And that's what I believe part of turning your pain into purpose really is. So turn that into fuel, turn that into a fire that ignites and grows and makes you the best person that you could become. And message me, because I've got some good stuff for you.